everybody. This is Salty Talk. We are so excited to have you here. This is a special edition of Salty Talk. This is a post-summit Salty Talk. We are super, super excited to be with you. Salty Talk is about inspiring, just intentional conversations and with community engagement. It's really super fun. But we are here today. We just had a summit in Louisville, Kentucky, or Louisville, Kentucky is how we say it. Louisville, Kentucky. Unfortunately, our sweet Erica, she is on sabbatical, so she could not be at this summit, but we love her. We wish her well, and we hope that she is lovely, but she is not here with us. However, we have another guest with us, so you got to put up with just this guy and me.
Yeah, you do have to put up with me. And please drop a heart in the comments for Erica as she enjoys her sabbatical. Hey, we are so excited. Like my partner said, we are just here, and we just got out of the summit here in Louisville, Kentucky. And so a couple of things that we like to get out of the summit is we want people to meet somebody, other community ministers from around the country. We want you to meet somebody. We want you to learn something, and we want you to contribute something. So in that vein, we're going to put you on the spot, on the hot seat. Carissa, tell us something that was your biggest takeaway.
Can we do something real quick?
Right, like what? Quick. What you want to do?
Tell us
who I am.
Yes. Tell us how to say
introduce
your
the
last name.
baby. Lord.
Because some people mispronounce it.
Some people. I ain't pointing no elbows or nothing.
I mispronounced it. So tell us who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in your role.
I'm Carissa Figgins. I'm the local outreach pastor at Harvester Christian Church in St. Peters, Missouri, just north of St. Louis. And I've been in that role for about 3.5 years now. I've been a member of the church for 17 years.
Love that.
Awesome.
Good. What brought you to this summit? Now, was this summit your first summit?
No, this was my third summit. So this is something that I look forward to every year now, getting to reconnect with some of my friends, but also meet new people as well. So that's one of the first things that we wanted to talk about. One of the things that we're really struggling with in our community is affordable housing and helping our unhoused neighbors. So as God would have it, I met an individual that's involved with making affordable housing, and he's right down the highway from me. Had to meet him in Louisville.
Love that.
But he is in Missouri, so that was just right off the bat. It's like, all right, I knew God had me exactly where he needed me, when he needed me to be there.
Love that.
So that was a great connection. So,
And what was something that you, maybe for our listeners, what's something that you contributed during the summit? You said a lot, which was great.
Yeah, you was talking a lot.
Your input. You was talking so
She's
much.
a summit veteran, so
I think that one of the things that I brought into ministry is I come from nonprofit world and education, and so just recruiting volunteers, managing volunteers, doing all of that. So I felt that I contributed to how we recruit volunteers, how we train them. One of the things that I talked about is a training that we have coming up later this week at my church, and how we got that information. So we train volunteers based on what their needs are, but also things that we observe. So we're going to talk about safety at our church. We're going to talk about CPR. We're going to talk about Narcan training, and I'm going to do a session on difficult conversations because I have seen some of them, and they need some help on how to talk to people at church and in the community.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Narcan training is like, it's so sad that you have to even mention that, especially in the church space, but it's the reality that we're living in 2025. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some of those practical trainings really help people in our church understand the issue, and that the church isn't safe from all those things.
Yeah, you're right. You talked about that a little bit, as far as like, can you talk about like not being a church that, like, you said, I don't want to, Can you talk about that a little bit?
So I just want to encourage everybody, whether you're a Jesus follower or not, well, really just the Jesus followers, because I think we have this tendency to dissuade people from coming to church because we gasp at their condition. We gasp that they didn't wear the right clothes, or they don't smell the right way, or they got too many tattoos, or whatever it is. And we have to lose this gasp reflex and exchange that gasp for a grasping of the love of Jesus, so that we can distribute the love of Jesus to people that come to our church. So don't gasp, but grasp. So
that'll preach.
Yeah.
Way to put that on a shirt.
Would it fit?
I don't know. Maybe. We're going to come up with a new
tattoo.
Oh.
Don't gasp, grasp. I love it.
I love
New
that.
tattoo listeners.
Conversational
you gotta get a
piece.
tattoo.
So Jerome, what was like your biggest takeaway from this year's summit?
Oh, wow. It was a lot of takeaways, but I think my biggest one was the conversation that we had around ICE and immigration, and just the nature of the difficulty of that conversation and how much tension that invokes and brings. And I just love the fact that we were able to lean into it. And I think that we as the church, we need to do more of that. We need to lean into those harder conversations and normalize that, hey, we might be on different sides of an issue, or there may be 3 sides or 4 sides or multiple sides, right? But I think that we have to be willing to have the conversations, and that I think is healthy. So we're not arguing and fighting and finger pointing and blaming, but we're trying to lean in and understand each other, and not just understand each other, which there's value there, but for the benefit of society as a whole, right? So the Bible says that they will know him by the love that we show one towards another. So if I can love you through a difference of opinion, then what kind of example would that be to the world? So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway.
We all were coming from different backgrounds and experiences, but there is a covering of love.
Yeah.
And even though it felt uncomfortable and intense at times, we were still coming back from that baseline of like, we're going to love each other through it. So
Exactly.
Exactly. Beautiful.
How about you, Becky? What was your biggest takeaway? Besides all the Chick-fil-A cookies that you took away?
You know, one of the things, it was kind of to your point a little bit about like being in a room of people that are like you. It's so refreshing and encouraging to be in a room where, you know, you can be in the middle of a conversation with someone and someone will overhear what you're saying and they'll say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but here's a great resource. And I had at least 4 of those of like, hey, here's something, like I heard you talking about this, or during a conversation, you know, you said something, like, can you unpack that a little bit? So it's a room full of people who aren't afraid to lean into the conversations, to ask the hard questions, to say, you know what, respectfully, I can push back on that, or I can challenge that. And for me to think, like that's a good word to push back, and for me to reframe things. But so I got lots and lots of resources. I mean, I guess it wasn't one thing. It was just a smattering of just a few things that were highly encouraging for me, but also very useful in ministry and community. And that's why these summits are so important, because it's a room full of you. It's a room full of you, and you need to engage with these summits. Again, the Community Minister Network, they hold them about once a year, maybe twice if we get super fancy. But yeah, once a year, and it's just invaluable information to be in a room with people who are just like you, who are struggling with some of the same things that you're struggling with, who are asking some of the same questions you're asking. And maybe you're not asking those questions, but they are. And it reframes it for you in a way that you think, I've never thought of it that way.
That's a really good point. I was just thinking about it. I didn't even know to ask some of those questions. But when you're around people who are like you, like, oh man, now I don't have to worry about it. My peer, my brother and sister asked that, so I can learn from that. It's beautiful.
And not to, like, this always, I've gone to 2, so we're besties from like just 2. But one of the things that I know she's the veteran here.
She's the old lady.
But as far as like community pastor, did you just call her old?
No.
Dang.
Veteran.
Sorry.
Seasoned? Continue. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. So all that to say, you know, I just totally lost my train of thought. So other than like what you mentioned, is there any other like additional takeaway from the summit in general? If not, it's fine. But like, is there a major takeaway of like, man, if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have gotten this?
There's just so much. I took pages of notes. Every speaker, every presentation was just so relevant, and just a really good use of time to come here and get away. But it was the word vision casting. Sometimes as a local outreach pastor, I'm trying to mobilize people and I'm just like, go. And I don't spend enough time telling them why they're doing it. And I spend a lot of that time like, this is how we're going to do it, but not enough on why. And I think God used that as like, you are not leading the people to something bigger. You are leading them to a task that needs to be done today, but not leading them to see how this leads into kingdom work.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
And as listeners, like the next question that we're going to ask Carissa is what we really want you to involve yourself with and engage in. But so here it is. What is something like for future Salty Talk episodes, maybe from the summit or just what's going on like in your community that you would want an episode to be about that would really either inspire you or encourage you to either lean into the network or lean into another pastor of like, man, they were on Salty Talk and I heard them talk about this. Yeah. Is there something that's kind of coming to your mind?
Yeah, I think I'm really worried about the church slipping into the operating from a space of a spirit of fear. And we're worried about being in spaces that somehow we don't belong, but we belong to God, we belong to his kingdom. So I'm really curious about what is our role in advocacy? What is our role in policy making? We need to honor the separation of church and state, but so much of what we deal with, of the lost and wounded, the people that are hurting, very often it's because of a result of policy or just people being aware of rules and laws that they've made and how that impacts people. So I feel like we have a voice. We need to speak into some space, but I'm not exactly sure what that is and how to do that. That would be honoring to God and not so much honoring man. So that's one of my questions.
I love that. I love that. And something that you said really resonated with me, that we shouldn't shrink away from these tough conversations, from these tough political environments or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the reasons why we even talked about starting this podcast, to be salt and light from Matthew chapter 5, right? To be salt, to be light, to light up the dark places, right? Where we're supposed to be bringing the light. We have to bring the salt, which preserves, which enhances, and we have to be in close proximity in order to do both of those things. So, like, I've never seen light run away from darkness. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. When the light comes on, the darkness runs. So, all you Jesus followers out there, let's run to the dark. I know it sounds crazy, I know. But if we're the light, we got to go light up the dark. So you can't retreat. We got to ask Holy Spirit what it looks like, how we do that, and then go and light up those dark places.
I love that. And part of the reason that this community minister network exists is the little bit of a flip side of that of when you hold a candle, which is a light, in a dark room, it can seem so small and so alone. But when you have community and when you really, really gather together and shine your light together, it can get bright real fast.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons why that the Community Minister Network really, really wants to bring these people together for these summits to connect on Zoom. They meet once a month on Zoom with partners, with other ministers, with other organizations. We talk about all kinds of things. But we want to be a voice and a resource for you as listeners, for other community ministers, just to kind of give you words of encouragement, but also inspiration and ideas for your church. So lean into the Community Minister Network, lean into Salty Talk, lean into all of it, because it just gets so much better the more you know, and the more you have community with these people, these networks all across the nation. It's just such sweet times.
Yes.
It's really, really sweet. You meet really weird people and really great
Very
people.
weird people.
So great, but in a good way.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's just so amazing too. Like these people get you. Like we're all part of amazing teams at churches, but they all do their thing, and they actually may have a team, and the rest of us don't have a team. Mm-hmm. And so to come at least once a year, but at least once a month on a Zoom, and that people get what we have the same vocabulary, we have the same shared experiences. That does something for your soul.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You can keep on doing the work that God's called us to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So make sure y'all jump on the Zoom. I know some community ministers are listening to this. Jump on the Zoom. All the information is at communityministernetwork.church.
Communityminister.network.
Network.
You said it wrong.
Did I?
Communityminister.network. But there's all kinds of exciting things on the website. There's all kinds of resources. There's a link to Salty Talk on there. There is an essentials course that you can take that is amazing in terms of community engagement. It is very well written by a good friend. And he's got the market on community engagement, all the things. So
follow us on social media. Insta, Facebook, what else? X, formerly known as Twitter, and also LinkedIn. So make sure you follow us on all the social media outlets so we can get salty.
So yes, like us, love us, heart us, all the things. And we'll catch you on the next time with Salty Talk. Stay salty.